Welcome back to Coins Tool. Yes, you heard that right. These aren't just any pennies, these are ultra-rare Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coins that have stunned collectors and investors alike. In this video, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable Lincoln penny coins, and revealing their jaw-dropping current market values in the millions. So grab your coin jar and pay close attention, one of these might just be in your collection. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of Lincoln cents, and we're focusing on a very special and often overlooked coin, the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny. This coin may appear ordinary at first glance, but did you know that certain 1971 Lincoln pennies can be worth thousands of dollars today? Yes, you heard that right. Stick around because we're breaking down the history, design, minting details, errors, rare varieties, and of course, the current market value of this incredible coin. Let's begin with the history behind the 1971 Lincoln penny. This 1-cent coin was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark located just below the year on the obverse side. In 1971, the United States Mint produced over 2.9 billion of these pennies at the Denver facility. That makes this coin one of the most common in circulation at the time. But here's where it gets interesting: not all coins were created equal. Some of these pennies were struck with rare die errors or special characteristics that make them extremely valuable to collectors today. The obverse of the 1971 penny features the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, are located discreetly at the base of Lincoln's shoulder. This design has been in place since 1909, when the Lincoln cent was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse side of the 1971 penny shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears reverse. If you look closely at the reverse with a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny depiction of the Lincoln statue between the columns, an incredible detail for such a small coin. Now let's talk about the composition. The 1971 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That's right, these coins are copper-based, not the zinc-coated steel used in modern pennies today. Each of these copper coins weighs approximately 3.11 grams. That's important to note, especially if you're hunting for high-value errors or anomalies. Speaking of errors, some of the most valuable 1971 pennies are those with minting mistakes or unique variations. For example, one of the most famous errors is the double die obverse, also known as DDO. A true double die means the coin's design was stamped twice by the die at slightly different angles, resulting in noticeable doubling of the text or features. If you come across a 1971 penny with strong doubling on the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date, 1971, you may be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another highly sought-after variety is the off-center strike. These coins were not perfectly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing and giving the coin a distinctive crescent-shaped blank area. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date is still visible. There are also broad strike errors, clipped planchets, and struck-through grease varieties that have surfaced among 1971 Lincoln cents. All of these minting anomalies can dramatically increase the value of your coin, particularly if the error is rare and in excellent condition. Now let's discuss grades and conditions, because that plays a huge role in determining how much your 1971 penny is worth. Most circulated 1971 pennies are only worth their copper melt value, which is around 2 to 3 cents based on current copper prices. However, coins that have been preserved in mint state condition, meaning they show no signs of wear and still have their original luster, can fetch much higher prices. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC are where the real money lies. An MS65 1971 penny can be worth around $25 to $50 depending on demand. But it gets better. Coins graded MS67 or higher are extremely rare and can sell for several hundred to a few $1,000s at auction. In fact, the current auction record for a 1971 Lincoln penny in superb condition is a staggering $3,600. That's right, a 1-cent coin sold for over $3,000 just because it was nearly perfect. That if you're lucky enough to find a 1971 D penny with both a high grade and a rare error, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Imagine finding a double-die obverse coin in mint state red condition. That's the kind of coin collectors dream about, and it could easily bring in $5,000 or more at auction depending on rarity, demand, and appeal. And that brings us to the current market for the 1971 D Lincoln penny. As of now, copper is still a valuable metal and coin collectors are actively seeking rare varieties and high-grade examples. The market has remained strong, with online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections regularly showcasing 1971 D pennies that sell for impressive sums. Even average uncirculated coins can bring in $5 to $20, which is quite the return on a 1-cent piece. So what should you do if you think you have a valuable 1971 D penny? First, handle the coin carefully and avoid touching the surface with your fingers. Oils from your skin can damage the coin over time. Next, examine it closely using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or anything unusual about the minting. If you think the coin might be valuable, consider sending it to a professional grading service for evaluation. A certified grade can significantly increase the coin's value and make it easier to sell or trade with collectors. In conclusion, while the 1971 D Lincoln penny is common in circulation, it holds tremendous potential for value and discovery. Whether it's a rare error, a high-grade example, or a unique variety, this humble coin could be worth far more than just 1 cent. So don't overlook those pennies in your change jar. You might just have a hidden treasure in your collection. We're diving deep into the world of numismatics as we uncover the hidden secrets and incredible value behind one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1970 D Lincoln 1-cent penny. That's right, this humble-looking coin featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars today. Whether you're a collector or someone who just found this coin in their pocket change, you'll want to stick around until the end of this video. You might just be holding on to a fortune and not even realize it. History of the 1970 D Lincoln penny. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent was first issued in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and became the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent has remained in production for more than a century, becoming the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. By 1970, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for over 60 years. In that year, the United States Mint struck Lincoln cents at 3 locations: Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Denver. The Denver Mint coins are marked with a small D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse of the coin. The 1970 D penny may look ordinary at first glance, but this coin has a few secrets that can make it incredibly valuable. Let's talk about why. How many were made in total? The Denver Mint produced more than 2.6 billion Lincoln cents in 1970. That's billion with a B. With such a high mintage, you might think that every 1970 D penny is common and worth only face value. But not so fast. Just like rare gems hidden in a mine of common stones, there are certain varieties and errors among these billions of coins that are worth a small fortune today. Rare varieties and errors to look for. One of the most sought-after rare varieties of the 1970 D Lincoln cent involves errors that happened during the minting process. Let's break down a few of the most valuable and rare examples that collectors are hunting for right now. First, keep an eye out for double-die obverse errors. Although more famous in the 1970 S penny, some collectors have identified doubling effects in the deminted coins as well. Look closely at the date, the word Liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." If the letters appear to be doubled or show shadow-like outlines, you may have a double-die error, and that can significantly boost the coin's value. Second, check for off-center strikes. These errors happen when the coin is not properly aligned during the striking process, causing part of the design to appear shifted or cut off. A 1970 D penny that is struck 5% to 90% off-center can range in value from $50 to several $100s, depending on the severity and visibility of the date. Third, keep an eye out for broad-struck coins or pennies struck on the wrong planchet. If you find a 1970 D penny that looks too thin, too thick, or has odd coloring, it may have been struck on a foreign coin blank or on an improper metal planchet. These types of mint errors are extremely rare and can be worth thousands of dollars. And finally, don't forget about repunched mint marks. A repunched mint mark, or RPM, occurs when the mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different positions. This error is subtle but highly collectible. A strong example of a 1970 D RPM can fetch upwards of $100 or more, depending on the condition. Grading matters like any collectible coin. The condition of your 1970 D penny plays a huge role in its value. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless coin in perfect mint state. A 1970 D penny in circulated condition is usually worth only a few cents to $1, unless it has a rare error. But a high-grade mint state example, especially those graded MS65 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, can be worth serious money. In fact, one stunning 1970 D Lincoln cent graded MS67 Plus read by PCGS sold at auction for over $3,000. That's right, $3,000 for a single penny. Why? Because coins in this level of pristine condition are extremely rare and highly desirable to collectors. Current market value and what to expect. So what's the current market value of a 1970 D Lincoln penny in 2025? Let's break it down. A regular 1970 D penny in circulated condition is worth between 1 cent and 25 cents. Nothing too exciting there. If your coin is in uncirculated condition, it can fetch anywhere from $1 to $10 depending on the grade. If you have a mint error, such as an off-center strike or a repunched mint mark, you could be looking at $50 to $500 or more, and if your 1970 D penny is in mint state MS66 or higher, especially with a brilliant red color and no blemishes, you could sell it for anywhere from $100 to $3,000 or more at auction. Now here's the kicker. A few extremely rare examples of 1970 D pennies with unique die errors or proof-like finishes have sold for even higher. Some private sales and auction listings have reached figures as high as $6,000 to $9,000 for museum-quality examples with multiple rare features. These coins are the crown jewels of Lincoln cent collections. Where to sell or get it graded? If you believe you have a valuable 1970 D Lincoln penny, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually reduce its value. Instead, have it evaluated by a professional. You can submit it to coin grading companies like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. If you want to sell it, consider listing it on reputable auction sites like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or eBay. Make sure to include high-quality images and a detailed description of any error or special feature. And always be aware of scammers and counterfeiters. Final thoughts. So there you have it, the story of the 1970 D Lincoln penny. From its rich history to its incredible value in today's market, this little copper coin proves that treasure is still hiding in plain sight. Whether you're checking your pocket change, sorting through old coin rolls, or just exploring the world of coin collecting, remember that the right penny could be worth thousands or even more. We're diving deep into the world of the 1976 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. You might have one of these in your pocket, or hiding in a coin jar somewhere. But what if I told you that some of these common-looking pennies could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Stick around because we're exploring the full history, hidden errors, rare varieties, and current market values of the 1976 Lincoln penny. Let's get started with a bit of history. The 1976 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that started in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this iconic coin features a right-facing portrait of the 16th president on the obverse, or front, of the coin. It has become one of the most recognizable and collected coins in United States history. Now, while 1976 was a monumental year for America, the year of the nation's bicentennial, there was no special bicentennial design for the penny. Unlike the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. The Lincoln cent in 1976 maintained its traditional design, but that doesn't mean there aren't any surprises or rare finds. The 1976 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, those from Denver have a D mint mark, and those from San Francisco typically bear an S, especially for proof coins. Let's look at the mintages and general characteristics. At the Philadelphia Mint, over 4.6 billion pennies were produced in 1976. That's billion with a B. At the Denver Mint, the number was even higher, over 4.2 billion coins. At the San Francisco Mint, the proof version saw a mintage of around 4 million. So yes, the 1976 penny is extremely common. But here's the catch: not all pennies are created equal. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A circulated 1976 penny, the kind you'd find in loose change, is usually worth its face value, 1 cent. But uncirculated coins and coins with rare errors can fetch some serious money. Let's talk about condition first. At a 1976 Lincoln penny in mint state condition, that means it was never used in circulation and has no visible wear, can be worth more than $1. In higher grades like MS-65 or MS-66, the value jumps significantly. Some of these coins in pristine, gem-quality condition have sold for $20, $50, and even over $100 at auction. But the real prize lies in the rare varieties and minting errors. Now let's dive into the types of valuable errors that collectors love. One of the most famous errors found on 1976 Lincoln pennies is the double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck by a misaligned or doubled die, causing parts of the design, such as the lettering or Lincoln's profile, to appear doubled. A strong double die on a 1976 penny can fetch hundreds of dollars or more, depending on the clarity of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin. Another valuable error is the off-center strike. This is when the coin is not properly aligned in the press and part of the design is missing. The more off-center the strike, up to about 75%, and the more visible the date, the higher the value. Some off-center 1976 pennies have sold for over $200. Clipped planchets are another error to look for. These occur when a portion of the coin's metal blank is missing before the coin is struck, resulting in a crescent or curved edge. These coins are fascinating and can be worth $30, $50, even $100 or more depending on how dramatic the clip is and the coin's condition. Another type of error is the broad strike, where the coin is struck without the collar that shapes the edge. This causes the coin to spread out wider than normal, often with a flatter appearance. Broad strike errors from 1976 are less common but still highly collectible, often fetching $20 to $50 or more. There are even rare examples of 1976 Lincoln cents that were accidentally struck on the wrong planchet, such as dimes or foreign coins. These rare error coins are highly sought after and can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the metal type and rarity. Now let's move on to the proof coins. The 1976 Lincoln penny struck at the San Francisco Mint was made specifically for collectors. These coins are produced with a special process that gives them a mirror-like finish and sharp details. If you have a proof 1976 penny still in its original mint packaging or in pristine condition, it might be worth between $2 and $5. But if it's a high-grade coin graded PR69 or PR70 deep cameo by a professional grading service, the value can reach up to $75 or even $100 or more. And here's where things get really exciting: some exceptionally rare 1976 Lincoln pennies in flawless condition or with spectacular errors have sold at public auctions for thousands of dollars. One such example, a 1976 Lincoln cent graded MS-67 read by PCGS, sold for over $1,000 because of its perfect color, luster, and strike. These top-grade examples are incredibly rare because most coins from this year were produced in massive numbers and used heavily in circulation. So, what should you be looking for in your pocket change? First, always check the date. If you find a 1976 penny, examine it closely. Is there any visible doubling on the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date? Look for off-center designs, unusual shapes, or missing portions of the coin. If it looks odd or unique, don't spend it, get it evaluated. Next, look at the coin's color and shine. A bright, red-toned, uncirculated 1976 penny is much more valuable than one that is brown and worn. If you think you have something special, consider getting the coin graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. These companies provide authentication, professional grading, and secure holders that protect your coin and prove its value to potential buyers. So, what is the current market value for 1976 Lincoln pennies? Circulated coins are worth 1 cent to about 10 cents. Uncirculated coins in MS-60 to MS-65 can range from $1 to $5. MS-66 and MS-67 examples can reach $25 to $200. Proof coins can range from $2 to $100 depending on condition. Error coins, like double dies, off-center strikes, or wrong planchets, can range from $50 to thousands of dollars. The rarest, highest quality coins have sold for over $1,000 at auction. To sum it all up, the 1976 Lincoln penny may seem like just another copper coin, but in the world of coin collecting, small details can mean big money. With billions produced, most are worth face value, but a few hidden gems are worth hunting for. Keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and who knows, you might just find a 1976 penny worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1983 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a penny that might just be sitting in your pocket change and could be worth thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. Some of these seemingly ordinary coins have sold for unbelievable amounts in recent years. So don't blink, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, the history behind this penny, and why collectors are paying top dollar for certain rare versions. Let's get started. The year was 1983. Ronald Reagan was President of the United States, the economy was recovering from a recession, and compact discs, or CDs, were starting to replace vinyl records. In the world of coinage, however, something very interesting was happening. Just 1 year earlier, in 1982, the United States Mint made a major change to the composition of the Lincoln cent. Prior to 1982, Lincoln pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But due to rising copper prices, the Mint decided to switch to a cheaper composition, 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. This change dramatically altered the coin's weight and metal content. And it's this transition that sets the stage for what makes the 1983 Lincoln penny so special. In 1983, all pennies were supposed to be made with the new zinc core and copper-plated surface. But as with many great coin stories, mistakes happen. And those mistakes can be worth serious money. First, let's talk about the basic details of the 1983 Lincoln penny. It features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait has been in use since 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, which was used from 1959 to 2008. The 1983 Lincoln penny was struck at 2 mints, Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia coins do not have a mint mark, while Denver coins are marked with a small d just below the date. Now here's where things get really interesting. Among the millions of 1983 Lincoln cents, a few extraordinary varieties exist that have caught the attention of collectors worldwide. Let's begin with the 1983 double die reverse penny. This is one of the most famous and valuable modern-era coins in U.S. history. What's a double die reverse? It's when the coin's reverse side design was accidentally stamped twice during the die creation process, but slightly misaligned. This results in noticeable doubling in the lettering, especially in the words, 1 cent, e pluribus unum, and United States of America. If you have a 1983 penny, take a close look, really close, or better yet, use a magnifying glass. If you see clear doubling on the reverse, congratulations, you might be holding one of the rarest and most sought-after pennies from the 1980s. In top condition, this variety can sell for thousands of dollars. One example in mint state condition was sold at auction for over $15,000. Even lower-grade examples can still bring in hundreds or even over $1,000, depending on the demand and condition. But that's not all. Another fascinating aspect of the 1983 penny is the 1983 copper planchet error. Remember how all pennies were supposed to be made from copper-plated zinc starting in 1983? Well, a few coins were mistakenly struck on the old copper planchets, leftover blanks from the previous year. These copper coins are heavier than the standard zinc pennies. A normal 1983 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. But a genuine 1983 copper penny will weigh approximately 3.1 grams. So how do you check if you have one? Use a precise digital scale. If your 1983 penny weighs more than 3 grams, you might have a rare and valuable coin on your hands. One 1983 copper penny was authenticated and sold for over $23,000 at auction. That's not just pocket change. That's life-changing money for a single penny. Now let's talk about current market value and what collectors are willing to pay in today's coin market. In 2025, the demand for error coins and rare varieties is higher than ever. Coin collecting has exploded in popularity thanks to online marketplaces, social media, and YouTube videos just like this one. Collectors are searching through rolls of pennies hoping to find hidden gems. And they're willing to pay top dollar for the rarest finds. Here's a breakdown of current market values for the 1983 Lincoln penny. A regular 1983 penny in circulated condition is worth face value, just 1 cent. However, uncirculated examples can be worth around 10 to 50 cents depending on grade. A 1983 D in mint state 65 red can sell for $5 to $10. But here's where it gets exciting. A 1983 double die reverse in mint state red can sell for $3,000 to over $15,000, depending on the condition and certification. A 1983 copper penny error, the rare off-metal strike, has sold in the range of $10,000 to over $23,000 at major coin auctions. Certified examples, especially those graded by PCGS or NGC with a designation like MS65 or higher, command the highest prices. Coins with full red luster are the most valuable. So what should you do if you think you found one of these rare coins? First, don't clean the coin. That could reduce its value. Handle it gently by the edges and store it in a protective holder. Next, weigh the coin to check for the copper planchet error. If you suspect a double die or off-metal error, consider sending it to a professional grading service for authentication. Graded coins are trusted by collectors and bring higher prices at auction. Now before we wrap up, let's talk about something even more thrilling, the possibility of finding $1 million penny. While the rarest 1983 varieties haven't quite hit the $1 million mark, the trend is rising. As the supply of high-grade error coins continues to shrink and collector interest grows, we could see even higher prices in the future. One day, a pristine example of the 1983 double die reverse or a confirmed 1983 copper penny in perfect condition might break records. It's happened before with other Lincoln cents, and it could happen again. So start checking your pocket change. Go through those old coin jars. Look carefully at every 1983 penny you find. You never know, you could be holding a small fortune in your hand without even realizing it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1983 Lincoln penny, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more rare coin stories, tips, and real market values. And don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss a video that could help you discover your next big treasure. We uncover the rarest and most valuable coins that could be hiding in your pocket change right now. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a coin you might easily overlook, the 2002 D Lincoln 1-cent penny. It may seem like just another modern penny at first glance, but some of these coins have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. One particular specimen has shocked collectors with its eye-popping auction price. So, how could a simple 2002 D penny be worth so much? Stay tuned, because we're about to uncover everything you need to know. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since 1909, originally introduced to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Over the decades, the design has evolved, but Lincoln's iconic profile has remained on the obverse side. In 2002, the reverse still featured the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design that was introduced in 1959 to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday. The 2002 D Lincoln penny was minted at the Denver Mint, and that little D mint mark under the year indicates its origin. In total, the Denver Mint struck over 3.5 billion pennies in 2002. That's right, billions with a B. So with that kind of mintage, how could any 2002 D penny be valuable? The answer lies in condition, errors, and some truly exceptional finds. Now, let's talk about the coin's physical characteristics. The 2002 D Lincoln penny is made of a copper-plated zinc composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. It weighs about 2.5 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. While it may appear very common, some of these coins possess unusual qualities that have made them extremely desirable to collectors. One of the key factors in determining a coin's value is its condition. A coin that has been in circulation and shows signs of wear may only be worth its face value. But a coin in mint state, meaning it has never been used and shows no signs of wear, can command a premium. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS 60 being the lowest grade in the mint state category, and MS 70 being a perfect coin with no visible imperfections even under magnification. Some 2002 D pennies have received exceptionally high grades from professional grading services like PCGS and NGC. For example, a 2002 D penny graded MS 68 red can sell for well over $200. But that's just the beginning. A particularly rare 2002 D penny graded MS 69 red, nearly a perfect coin, sold at auction for an astonishing $2,500. Yes, $2,500 for a modern penny minted in the billions. That kind of value is only possible when a coin is nearly flawless and extremely well preserved. Finding one in your change is rare, but not impossible. Now, let's talk about errors. Coin errors can significantly increase a coin's value, and the 2002 D penny is no exception. Some of the most valuable examples come from striking errors, that is, mistakes that occurred during the minting process. These include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and broad strikes. An off-center strike happens when the coin is not properly aligned in the press, resulting in a design that is shifted to one side. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date is still visible. A 2002 D penny with a 50% off-center strike and a clear date can sell for over $100. A double die error is another popular variety among collectors. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a doubled image, usually visible in the lettering or numbers. While no major double die errors have been confirmed for the 2002 D penny, minor varieties have been reported and can still bring in decent prices depending on demand. A broad strike error occurs when the retaining collar that normally keeps the coin's edge and shape fails to engage, resulting in a coin that appears stretched out or oddly shaped. These coins are often worth between $25 and $100 or more, depending on the severity and condition. Let's take a closer look at market values. As of this year, the typical circulated 2002 D Lincoln penny is worth 1 cent. However, uncirculated examples can fetch between $5 and $10. In mint state red condition, where the coin still retains its bright red copper luster, values jump significantly. MS 65 red examples typically sell for between $10 and $25. MS 67 red coins can bring in between $75 and $150, while MS 68 red can command upwards of $250 or more. But as we mentioned earlier, the holy grail is the MS 69 red grade. These coins are extraordinarily rare and highly sought after by registry set collectors who want the best of the best. Only a handful of 2002 D pennies have achieved this grade, and when they appear at auction, the bidding can get intense. That's how one of these seemingly ordinary pennies sold for over $2,500. You may be wondering, how do I know if I have a valuable 2002 D penny? The first step is to check the condition. Look for a penny that appears unused, with a bright red tone and no scratches or wear. Then, use a magnifying glass to inspect the details. Look for any signs of doubling, misalignment, or damage that looks like it may have occurred at the mint. If you believe you have a high-grade coin or a potential error, the best course of action is to submit it to a professional grading service. They'll assess the condition and verify any errors. A graded coin not only carries more value, but it also provides peace of mind to buyers and collectors. And remember, coin values can change over time based on demand, rarity, and discoveries of new varieties or errors. That's why it's important to stay informed and connected with the coin collecting community. So, to wrap up, the 2002 Lincoln penny might seem like just another modern coin, but under the right circumstances, it can be worth a surprising amount of money. Whether it's a pristine mint state coin, a rare error, or even just a curiosity, this penny has more potential than meets the eye. Check your change, search your coin rolls, and don't overlook the coins you already have, because you never know what treasures you might uncover. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest coin finds worth a fortune. Have a valuable day, and happy collecting.